At midnight, Ward 13 in an old Chicago hospital starts speaking. "You can't come here, this place belongs to us. If you hear this voice, you'll never leave alive." Deep in the heart of Chicago, stands a hospital that once treated thousands of patients. For decades, it was a place of healing and hope, but one section of the hospital was shrouded in darkness and fear, Ward 13. This ward was designed for psychiatric patients, many battling severe mental illnesses that the doctors of the time didn't fully understand. In the early 1900s, treatments were experimental and sometimes cruel. Doctors tried drugs and therapies with little regard for the patient's suffering. Rumors spread about Ward 13, tales of patients disappearing, strange noises, and shadows lurking in the hallways. By the 1950s, after a series of strange events and mysterious deaths, the hospital shut down Ward 13. The official story was that the ward was being renovated, but years passed, and it remained abandoned, sealed off from the rest of the hospital. Locals avoided the hospital's old wing, whispering about ghosts and cursed rooms. Even the hospital staff refused to enter after dark. Sarah joins the hospital. Sarah was fresh out of nursing school, eager to start her career. When she joined the hospital, she was warned about Ward 13. "Whatever you do, don't go near Ward 13 after midnight. Strange things happen there, things no one can explain." Sarah smiled and shrugged off the warning as superstition, just old hospital folklore. She was practical, scientific, and ready to prove the stories wrong. Her first night shift was uneventful at first. The hospital was quiet, too quiet. The only light was the flickering of fluorescent bulbs overhead, casting long, unnatural shadows in the empty corridors. The midnight shift. At exactly midnight, Sarah made her rounds. She checked on patients, took notes, and prepared for a long night. When she reached the hallway near Ward 13, a cold chill ran down her spine. The air felt heavy, thick, almost suffocating. Ward 13's door was locked, but she noticed movement inside. Peering through the small window, she saw an old man, Mr. Harris, lying awake in a bed, staring at the ceiling. The rest of the ward was dark and silent. Suddenly, the hospital lights flickered violently. The hallway plunged into darkness for a moment before the emergency lights buzzed on, bathing everything in a harsh red glow. The first encounter. From the far end of the corridor, Sarah saw a shadow move. At first, she thought it was another nurse or a doctor, but this figure was different, pale, almost translucent, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through her soul. It moved slowly towards her. The temperature dropped sharply. Sarah's breath fogged in the cold air. Then, in a voice barely louder than a whisper, it said, "This place belongs to us, you can't come here." Sarah's heart raced. She turned and ran to the nurse's station, but the voice echoed behind her like a haunting melody she couldn't escape. Strange events unfold. The next morning, Mr. Harris was gone. The staff searched every corner of the hospital but found no trace. No one heard any alarms, no doors were opened, it was as if he vanished into thin air. Sarah felt haunted by the experience. She couldn't stop thinking about the shadow and the voice that warned her. Determined to understand what was happening, Sarah started researching the hospital's history. In the archives, she found old reports and newspaper clippings about Ward 13. The dark secret revealed. She uncovered disturbing truths. A doctor named Dr. Caldwell had run Ward 13 during the 1940s and 50s. He had experimented on patients, testing unapproved drugs and treatments. Many patients died mysteriously, labeled as natural causes or accidents. Sarah also found a worn, leather-bound diary written by Dr. Caldwell himself. In it, he admitted to his cruel experiments and confessed his guilt. The last pages were frantic, suggesting that the patient's spirits never left the ward, trapped by the pain and injustice they suffered. Sarah's decision. Haunted by these revelations, Sarah decided to face the fear head-on. She volunteered to work a full night shift alone in Ward 13, hoping to communicate with the spirits and help them find peace. At midnight, she entered the cold, dark ward. The walls were peeling, the air stale. She read the doctor's diary by flashlight, each page revealing more horrors. Suddenly, the shadow appeared again. It floated silently, its eyes pleading. We were forgotten. We were hurt. We want to be free. The terror escalates. As Sarah read aloud from the diary, the ward seemed to come alive. Doors slammed, lights flickered wildly, and the temperature dropped further. Ghostly voices whispered from every corner. The shadow became more aggressive. It warned Sarah. If you don't leave, you will be trapped with us forever. But Sarah was determined to help. She stayed calm, continuing to read, hoping the truth would break the curse. The escape. At 3 a.m., the ward's doors suddenly slammed shut. Sarah was trapped. The shadow grew larger, its voice turning into a roar. You belong here now. Panicking but fighting fear, Sarah grabbed the diary and sprinted for the exit. The hallway seemed endless, the shadows reaching out to grab her. With a final burst of strength, she threw open the door and ran outside. The heavy doors slammed behind her with a final, echoing bang. Aftermath and closure. Sarah told hospital officials everything. After further investigation, Ward 13 was permanently sealed and condemned. But the legend remains. People who pass by the old hospital at night still hear faint screams, cold whispers, and footsteps with no one there. Some even report seeing a pale shadow wandering the halls, a spirit still trying to tell its story. So, if you ever find yourself near that abandoned hospital after dark, beware the chill in the air and the voice that warns. You can't come here. This place belongs to us.